الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. Respected brothers, elders, listeners, once again you've joined us for the Q&A. We'll start with this week's questions. Question number 1. Does smoking break the fast? Yes, that is very clear. The obvious answer is yes, it would break the fast. Smoking, vaping, this would break the fast. So we have to keep in mind what would break the fast is anything. Brothers at the back, I humbly request you please remain silent. Either join us for the gathering or either please go outside. Brothers at the back on my right side, please. This is a masjid, it's a house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Please remain silent. There's some brothers that are praying also. And if there's a talk happening in the masjid, either if we need to say something, we can go outside. If not, then join the gathering. Please remain silent. May Allah reward you. Now, anything that goes past the throat and it goes down to the stomach will break the fast. So that's a simple way of understanding point number 1. Point number 2, anything that goes into the nose and it goes all the up to the brain. And point number 3 is anything that goes into the back passage from there and it gets to the stomach. Any of these 3 things, this will break the fast. Question number 2, are we allowed to fast in Sha'ban? Now we're coming to the end of Sha'ban, and we know we've got some hadiths regarding this. After Nisf Sha'ban, if we look, Allama Nawawi rahimahullah has put a title on this about where he's brought some hadiths of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, where Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam has prohibited that one should not fast in the last half of Sha'ban. This is for those that are weak and it would affect their fasts of Ramadan. So for those, they need to save the energy for the obligatory fast and fast in Ramadan. If someone has a habit of fasting on a Monday and Thursday, that's fine. They can continue with this. There's no problem. For those that need to have the energy, then it's best not to now. And when Ramadan comes, they can have the full energy for their fard. Rather, if the energy is all used up in Sha'ban, then when Ramadan comes, which the preparation of Sha'ban was for Ramadan, and one does not have the full energy, then it will affect the Ramadan. So these are the things that we keep in mind. Question number 3, when traveling, do you have to fast? In the Quran, there's one ruku that is dedicated to the rules of fasting Ramadan in Surah Al-Baqarah, in para number 2. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kutiba alaykum as-siyam kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. Apart from that, there's no other mention in the Quran about Ramadan fasting. It's all in one ruku. This one ruku, which is only almost, I think, 5 verses or 6 verses. Every Muslim's responsibility, duty at the bare minimum that we know this ruku. What is Allah said about fasting? Who has concession? What is the relation of Quran with Ramadan? The importance of dua? When will the fast end? I'tikaf? All these things have been discussed in this one ruku in Surah Al-Baqarah. The bare minimum that we can study this ruku and we will have good knowledge of Ramadan and its purpose. Now, coming back to the question about traveling. If a person is traveling, which is considered outside their town that they are living or city that they are living, and now they've gone from there and they have made intention to go 48 miles or above, then the person will be classified as a musafir, as a traveler. So in this surah, in Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned أياما معدودات فمن كان منكم مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر. Two people have concession when it's fasting. Number one is marid, a person that is ill. And there's a lot of detail to that, what illness is it and how it's affecting a person. Number two is a person that is on travel. So during that travel, one's made that intention, then Allah's mentioned, now they have a choice. If they want, they can keep the fast. If they miss that fast because of travel, then فَعِدَّةٌ مِّنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخَرٍ, then they will make up for this fast on another day. Also the one that's ill. If one is not terminally ill, they've got some illness for some time, this Ramadan to come, then they would not give fidyah. Some people, many of the times, almost probably every year, we've come across where someone that says, my wife's not well, or someone has they're ill. They're not terminally ill, just for that time in Ramadan, and they say, how much fidyah do we need to give? There's no fidyah for this. Allah has mentioned in the Quran, فَمَنْ كَانَ مِنْكُمْ مَرِيضًا, the one that is ill or the one that is traveling, then they will fast on another day during the year. Now the question comes, a person that is terminally ill, there's no cure for them, then the option of fidyah comes. And if they do get cured, then they would still fast. And one who's a Shaykh Fani, one who's very old at such a stage where they're like, you could say like a guest in this world, or reach such an age, for them they have the option of fidyah. But the one who is ill on a journey, they must keep that fast on another day. This is a concession that Allah has given to us in the Quran. We cannot add our own concessions. Some people would add, if you have an exam, that means you do not need to fast, and it's fine. We can just make up for it another day. What Allah has mentioned in the Quran are these 2 points that we have where there's concession that is given. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the ability to understand and to spread unto others. Ameen. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun. Wa salamun ala al-mursaleen. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.